Welcome to another episode of Inside Martial Arts. I am your host, Vanessa Ewell. Miletich took what he learned in the ring as five-time mixed martial arts champion and developed the Miletich fighting system. He has since gone on to train more champions than any other trainer in the world, UFC's Matt Hughes and Tim Sylvia, to name a few. We got a chance to catch up with Pat at his school in New York and see the Miletich fighting method in action.
My name is Pat Miletich and I'm from Bettendorf, Iowa. Just grew up in Iowa wrestling, boxing also, and went to college for wrestling, got a scholarship to go to college, and that's what really started my fighting career. I started off going back into boxing, Muay Thai kickboxing, and then mixed martial arts eventually. The first time I saw it on TV, I obviously said, you know, that's for me, from my wrestling background and everything. So a lot of people were very stubborn about learning other styles. It was almost like a personal attack on themselves. You know, I'm a wrestler, I don't want to learn anything else because that's the best thing out there, or I'm a grappler, or I'm a Muay Thai guy. You know, they took it very personal. I recognized right away that that was a bad way to go.
You want to use your feet to dig into the ground.
That's really how the Miletich fighting system started, was just right away going after the best people in the world, you know, with their different knowledge and you know, gaining that knowledge from them. For the vast majority of my career, I've always trained people, even while I was fighting. When I was younger, it was obviously a lot easier. It takes away from some of my coaching, I think, to actually try and compete. I think it's even more satisfying to coach, to help people, you know, realize their dreams in their life. It was a great feeling to obviously win a world title and do those sort of things, but to see other kids do that and remember that feeling, you know, it's nice to see them reach those goals and also help them become better people.
So when I throw my right hand, I'm stepping at the same time, okay, to here. And then when I pivot, I'm in the same place, okay?
You know, the main qualifications and things that I'm looking for to accept a club into the MFS operations is, number one, helping those schools, but two is raising the level of martial arts across the country and really changing the public's perception of what real, true martial arts is, as opposed to maybe just a traditional martial artist. You know, we're looking at things a little more in a reality setting and functional fitness. I would say the major challenges that we're going to run into in this sport are people from the boxing industry jumping on board with this sport. In my mind, some of the folks from the boxing world are not real desirable, and I have no qualms about speaking that publicly. And those people jumping on board because of the dollars can sour this sport also real quick. So, you know, I let people know, if they're from the boxing world, you know, just be honest and don't do me wrong, or we're going to have problems. A place like here in New York with David Martucci's facility, we're going to hold the bar a little higher for qualifications than we would, say, somewhere in the Midwest with a town of 5,000 people, because there's no competition, obviously.
My name is David Martucci. I've been training martial arts about 12 years. My background is mainly Muay Thai and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. MFS is pretty much the strongest, most dominating force in MMA. I really couldn't see myself affiliating myself with any other team that I can think of right now. Well, the approach of training, once I became affiliated with Miletich, definitely changed. I adapted a lot of the strength and conditioning drills, the grappling drills, pad work drills. It really has brought the energy in my gym to another whole level, as far as support for the team and just basically endurance on my fighters.
When somebody advances towards you, I want you stepping and hooking at the same time. Now you can see how I've enabled myself to throw that kick again. So he comes in, boom, and then the kick, okay? There was a gap for a lot of years that I noticed the guys from Holland would box and then kick, okay? And they were wrecking the Thais over there because they were fighting that way. They weren't fighting the Thai style. If you want to beat somebody, don't fight their style that they've been doing for hundreds of years. Yes. Beat them at something they're not good at and then add to it. You see what I'm saying? So learn how to box really good, step inside of their kicks and beat the hell out of them, and then pick them apart with your legs and destroy them, right? That's going to help. The better you are with these, okay? Especially you MMA guys. Very important.
You know, I feel that, you know, Pride has got a lot of great fighters. They have a very deep pool of fighters, and we've had our share of guys in there. We have connections in, you know, in the States with a lot of the bigger promotions and stuff, and it's a little easier. A lot of athletes really don't desire to spend that much time in a plane and traveling that far around the world and things like that. It's a huge inconvenience to constantly fly over to Japan and places like that. It's very, very exhausting. So I think that probably is the biggest thing. When you can make good money here in the States and not have to fly halfway around the world, why go over there? We definitely have some strong up-and-comers in especially the middleweight division, 185 pounds. That weight division has a guy named Rob Lawler out of my gym who's finally coming into his own. He was very young when he got into the UFC, very talented kid, and probably the best athlete, probably the best fighter I've ever had out of my camp. Most people don't realize it, but I think I've got 3 of the absolute best 185 pounders on the planet. And we train basically the same way for any guy. It really doesn't matter because nowadays athletes are so well-rounded, but we're gonna you know, tweak things a little bit for the strengths of the other guy and the weaknesses of the other guy also. And very open discussions with, you know, I'll ask a fighter what he thinks he's going to do strategy-wise, you know, and I'll give him ideas of what I think might be, you know, the best way to attack a fight. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but you know, it's a team effort, definitely.
I should only punch that deep into his head. That's all I have to punch into his head to knock him out or break his cheek or his jaw or whatever, okay? Because I should have my foot in my placement. If he comes toward me, there should be that imaginary force field that's kind of driving me back that keeps him at the end of the snap of my punches, right? I don't want to push my punches. I don't want to hit a guy and have him do that. So when you hit the bag, practice punching that deep into it, just like that, and cracking it, and the bag should hardly swing unless you're blasting it with real hard hooks or something, okay? And when you watch a real good boxer hit a bag, a lot of times it won't even move. It sounds like a machine gun going off. Like that. And that's the way you want your punches to hit people.
The biggest thing to expect is that you're going to see a lot of new faces. And my goal is obviously to help as many kids from the affiliate programs around the country make their way into the UFC, the IFL, Pride, and a lot of these bigger organizations. I mean, that's one of the things that we, you know, set out as goals to this whole operation. So look for a lot of new faces.
So you guys have got to give yourself a chance off of this. When I go here and I hit him with this, I've got to be able to float this. It'll float for just a second. Boom, float, boom, and then it explodes and changes speeds. The change in speed is where you'll catch people. A lot of times a guy will cover for the punch, and I'll float my leg until he looks for me. And then I'll come with a kick right when he's peeking to look for where the hell everything's going on at, okay? So I've disappeared, and then I can throw it. Or I can come back in with my hands if I don't think the kick's there.
Hi, I'm Pat Miletich. You're watching Inside Martial Arts.